Good morning. Welcome to Mantra 108, where we are in our 9th day of our peace mantra, our Shantipat mantra, one of the many Shantipat mantras. Sarve Bhavantu, Sukhinaḥ, Sarve Santu, Nirāmayāḥ, Sarve Bhadrāṇi, Paśyantu, Kaścidduḥkha, Bhāg, Bhavet. So good morning, good morning. I see a couple people joining me. And hang on, I need to run get something. I just forgot something. I'll be right back. I'm still here. Good morning again. I left my tea in the other room. Okay. So, I'm not going to talk very long this morning. We're going to get right into our practice because this is the morning, Wednesday morning is the morning that I teach a 9 o'clock yogasana class, a physical yoga class. So I have to be off and all set up by 9 o'clock. So I'm just going to tell you that the next step in the 8-step meditation program is the idea of single-pointed awareness. So I'm not going to talk a lot about this, but I will say that when we think of how multitasked we are, I think everybody does multitasking. Now more than ever, I mean not now in COVID times, but now in this time in our culture where typically we're so busy and so rushing around to get everything done all the time. Get it done, get it finished, get many things finished at once. I know that I am a multitasker. I multitask all the time. But think about some of the ways that we multitask. One of the things that I do when I'm in the kitchen cooking is start one thing, get that going, and then start another thing, get that going, start another thing, get that going. So I've got a lot of things going in the kitchen when I'm preparing a meal. Maybe that's necessary. Maybe I could slow that down a little bit. But then think about perhaps we are watching Netflix, which many of us are doing a little bit of now. So we're watching Netflix, but maybe we're eating dinner while we're watching Netflix, rather than just eating our meal and being present with our meal, being single-pointed, single-focused on our meal, rather than being entertained while we're eating our meal. Another example is I know that when I go for a walk by myself, often I grab my iPod so that I can put earphones in and listen to a podcast while I'm walking, rather than just being with my walk, just being with the moments that come up as I'm walking through my neighborhood or as I'm walking through the canyon where I like to walk. I'm sure that you can think of a lot more instances in your life where you are doing this multitasking and perhaps allowing one task to distract you from your primary task, or a couple of tasks to distract you from your primary task. Just yesterday, I needed to make a phone call to my bank. And if any of you have tried to call your bank recently, it's going to be really hard to get through. My local branch is temporarily closed, so I can't even go there to ask for questions I need to have answered about my accounts. So I had to get on the long wait for talking to someone at Bhavet. And so I had my phone on speaker so that I could hear the music in the background until someone finally came on. But while I was doing that, I had my computer open because I was working on something for our upcoming yoga camp that we're doing online this year, working on that. And at the same time, I had a book open because I was researching some things that I had been curious about. So there I was, multitasking, waiting for the phone call, doing my work online, and doing a little bit of work in my Tantra Illuminated book. So I wasn't really being present for any one of those activities. So one of the things that Eshwaran teaches us is to slow down and be single-pointed. Don't try to take on all of those tasks, which then tend to distract us from any one of them, that tend to distract us from being present, fully present with whatever's happening in the moment. So I guess I did end up talking quite a bit this morning after all. So we'll go ahead and get started on our practice today. And I think for today, we'll keep it slow again. Yesterday we honored the idea of slowing down and how important that is. And so we honored that by chanting the mantra very slowly. And because I have to be off of this practice by 9:45, I think we'll also chant our mantra slowly again and not do a full mala. Oh, and that reminds me that Lisa asked me to address the idea of, is it important that we do the full mala? So there are so many answers to that question. Well, actually not so many answers to that question, but so many different ways that mantra is chanted. There are some mantras that are prescribed for a count of 100,000 or 10,000. And so people spend their whole lives working on ticking off the numbers of malas that they're doing in a day so that they can work toward completing 10,000 repetitions of a mantra. There are also schools that will say to chant the mantra with the mala twice a day or 3 times a day. It depends on the mantra. This particular mantra has no special prescription behind it, other than to chant it for the benefit of all beings, which is what we're doing. And so if we're not chanting a full 108 rounds, repetitions, it's good to chant multiples of 9 or divisibles of 9. So you could count, you could do 3, you could do 6, you could do 9 repetitions, you could do 18 or 27, you could do 54, just half of the mala. So any one of those numbers, divisible or multipliable by 9, are good numbers to sink into when you're doing your practice. Or you can also just set a time for yourself. I'm going to practice for 20 minutes. In fact, I'm going to set a timer for 20 minutes, or for 30 minutes, or for 15 minutes, or for 10 minutes, depending upon what kind of time you have to be single-pointed about chanting your mantra. So, with that, it is now 10 after 8, and we're going to chant our mantra very slowly for 30 minutes. We'll finish that at 20 till, so that I can be ready to teach my yoga class at 9 o'clock. All right, so go ahead and close down your eyes. Ground yourself. Press through your crown to sit tall. Soften your skin, soften your muscles, soften your heart center and your mind, your busy mind, let that soften. Let your body feel the weightiness of gravity, connecting you to the Earth Mother. And let your body also feel a lightness at the crown, opening to and receiving the energy of the sky, of the spaciousness, of that is all it is, bigger than ourselves. Take a full inhale and then release it slowly. And then we'll take another inhale to begin our practice. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ, Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ, Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu, Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. As we repeat our mantra, sorry for interrupting here, but as we repeat our mantra, because we're doing it so slowly, this is a good opportunity to really focus on, feel all of the mouth placements, all of the tongue placements, all of the pronunciation, the subtleties of pronunciation of this mantra. So allow yourself to feel all of those things, experience all of those things as a practice of single pointedness and slowing down. Taking another inhale. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ, Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ, Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu, Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ, Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ, Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu, Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu. Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadraṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu Ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaḥ. Sarve Santu Nirāmayāḥ. Sarve Bhadrāṇi Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhāg Bhavet. Sarve Paśyantu ma Kaścidduḥkha Bhavet. Open your eyes. And so that brings us to the end of our practice, and you know I need to rush off to teach my yoga class. So I invite you to try to be a little more single-pointed today. Not so much multitasking, but single focus, single-pointed focus. And of course, continue to slow down. And when we slow down, it helps us to be more singly focused. And when we're more singly, one-pointed focused, we tend to slow down more. So they complement one another. All right, have a great day, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Love to you all.